you may say that Doom or Quake influenced the staples of what a good old school shooter was, I will argue it being down to one man, Duke Nukem, who pretty much changed the perspective on shooters purely based on how badass the character was. Just imagine he was the Terminator without hunting for John Connor or being too serious. He doesn't overstay his welcome and he's not too obnoxious to the consumer to the point of this guy's really boring, he needs a sense of humour in his life. Duke Nukem 3D nailed it perfectly. I mean, it's got old school blockbuster hit features like the whole building explosions, it's you versus the world's evils, you can tip strippers, it's crazy. Then Duke Nukem Forever came. It was a broken promise of Duke's glorious return after a decade plus hiatus following his first 3D outing. Forever completely tainted the character and made him as egotistical and as self-absorbed as you could possibly get, which in comparison to 3D was a low for both the writers and the series as a whole. The package of Duke Nukem Forever is more akin to a Borderlands game than it is a Duke Nukem game, smothered in over-the-top humour that desperately attempts to produce laughs. However, Borderlands did it in a style that is relative to the atmosphere and the environments that you play in that game. Duke Nukem Forever was just a bland mess, in my opinion. I didn't even bother recording it because it was that bad. But since Duke Nukem came out with Forever, it's funny that I mentioned Borderlands, because when you talk about one thing that could make a Duke Nukem game popular again if it's in the right hands. Gearbox own the Borderlands franchise, they have been there from the get-go, and they're still there today. When Duke Nukem Forever was being made, they purchased the rights to Duke Nukem off of 3D Realms, now known as Apogee. That alone is a big problem, but the question remains, would a Duke Nukem game succeed in 2024 or 2025? Yes, you gotta be stupid otherwise, because look around you. FPS games are everywhere. You've got even bland monetized games like Call of Duty. Doom not long ago got a massive remake that completely sold everyone. They had a lot of fun with that game. Same thing went for Serious Sam. Serious Sam 1 came out in the mid-2000s, and then Serious Sam 3 and 4 came out not too long after, trying to modernize the genre, but they still succeeded. They don't encapsulate the same magic feeling of a Quake or even the first Serious Sam game, but 3 and 4 was still influential, I'd say, at pioneering the same formula that was present in the 90s. It was no anti-cheats whatsoever, you don't need an internet connection, there's no server maintenances or shutdowns, it was just you with some guns shooting some aliens. Old school fun. And if done correctly, Duke Nukem can be revived, with Duke Nukem Forever being what Serious Sam 2 was to its own series. It was just a spin-off that the devs wanted to change things up, it didn't work, so they brought out more games that went back to the original formula. Again, I have to reference Serious Sam. Look at Serious Sam 1, okay? Luscious Egyptian environments. You've got yourself, guns, Sam's witty remarks that don't overstay their welcome. You just have you, guns, and you're shooting all the aliens going towards mental. Then Serious Sam 2 came along with funny, quote-unquote, cutscenes. Completely new character roster, completely new characters. There was no formula for which weapon was better than what enemy. Serious Sam Next Encounter was more fun than that, and that was a spin-off by itself for console ports. A console game did better as a spin-off than Serious Sam 2 did as a direct sequel, quote-unquote, to the first game. Duke Nukem Forever is basically the same effect. It tried to be ambitious and fit in with the modern times, it didn't work. But it's possible that old school shooters can still live in this day and age. I mean, Doom, for example, it's got the same adrenaline feeling as from when you play the classic Dooms on even GZ Doom emulators, with modded maps being a thing. Duke Nukem can be revived, and I hope it does, because Duke Nukem 3D is one of the most influential shooters of not just my generation, but in the history of gaming, in my opinion. But that's really all it comes down to. If Gearbox can make the right game, Duke Nukem can be great again. It's just a matter of, can they even be bothered to do so? We'll be the judge of that.